Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Saints last week wrapped up a mini camp, and look, candidly, there's just not a ton you take away from OTAs or mini camps. It's great for these guys to get on the field, to run around, to practice, to get a feel for your rookies, to let them get their feet wet. It's all a gradual progression, right? It's rookie mini camp, it's OTAs, it's mini camp, then training camp, as you continue to sort of ramp up toward training camp, preseason, and the season. I think you all understand that. So I'm not trying to draw some big, giant, sweeping conclusion from anything at camp. What's really notable is, okay, well, Michael Thomas was out there, so is he a little ahead of schedule? Those are the types of things. Receivers and quarterbacks can kind of start to work on their timing. A lot of that is what's sort of meaningful this time of year. But after minicamp, Tyrann Mathieu, of course, who is everyone here knows, and he's beloved and a phenomenal leader. He's also a Super Bowl champion, having won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. Tyrann Mathieu chatted with Jeff Duncan, and I saw this quote from Tyrann. And this is about Derek Carr. Tyrann said, quote, "There's just something different about this year. There's a camaraderie and a brotherhood. I think we all kind of feel it right now." He went on. Not to take anything away from Jameis or Andy Dalton, because those guys work hard, and they've had success in this league, and they are very talented. But anytime you get a quarterback like Carr, a guy that's proven for 10 years that he can get it done, I think it adds something to the team. This team believes we're probably like one of 12 teams that can go the distance. We all believe that right now, end quote. Again, this team believes we're probably like one of 12 teams that can go the distance. We all believe that right now. First of all, I don't want to be the guy that sits here and argues with Tyrann Mathieu. He is one of the greatest players we've ever seen come through Baton Rouge, one of the greatest leaders in any sport, and he's a guy that people line up behind. So I am not sitting here trying to pound the table and say Tyrann Mathieu's dead wrong. I'll tell you, I look at this from 2 points of view, and understanding that a lot of you who follow the show know that whenever the Saints signed Derek Carr, I did not love it. And it's not because I don't like Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr makes the Saints the best version of themselves in 2023. I just don't believe the ceiling is as high as Tyrann says that it is, as far as making the Saints a championship contender. I think Derek Carr and Andy Dalton, as we've gone through the numbers, are essentially the same player. They spent nearly a decade with the team that drafted them. They threw for a lot of yards, won a lot of games, made the playoffs, never were able to advance, and the team that drafted them decided they were moving on, and that essentially cut bait. Said, we've reached the pinnacle we can with you. And we saw Andy Dalton leave, and he's now on his fourth team in as many years since leaving Cincinnati. Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, and now Carolina. I don't know that Derek Carr is on that same trajectory, but it stands to reason that could very well be the case, although not every situation is apples to apples. For what it's worth, Dennis Allen, who, of course, was very much okay with bringing Derek Carr to New Orleans as part of this. This is what Dennis Allen said this last week at minicamp.
You know, the quarterback is the most important position on the field, and when you have a highly skilled player, a highly intelligent player, a guy that works the way that Derek does, a guy that has the type of leadership qualities that Derek has, that's going to filter throughout the whole football team, players and coaches, and I think that gives you a lot of confidence going into the season.
Here's my one major question. You heard Tyrann say it, and you heard Dennis Allen say it right there. Leadership, culture, all those sorts of things, right? Was the culture so bad in Oakland and Las Vegas with the Raiders that even Derek Carr couldn't overcome it? Follow me here. I understand that quarterbacks sometimes are in bad situations. My hands in the air. I made the argument sitting here that was the case with Jameis Winston in Tampa. It was a terrible situation. And you take him out of that situation, putting him in a better environment, let him foster and grow. Okay, well, that's a 25-year-old player. When you're a guy that's been around the league for a decade and you've been at the same franchise for a decade, you would think you would make your indelible mark on that franchise. I'm not saying Derek Carr is, and I don't have all the context. I don't cover the Raiders day to day and know the inner workings. But I look at Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. I mean, the Bungles, they were an awful franchise. I get it. And Andy Dalton was there, and he had some level of winning, but even after that, they ended up with the number 1 overall pick for a reason. And that was a franchise that notoriously wouldn't spend and were losers and had bad culture and all of it. And you inject Joe Burrow, year 2, they're in the Super Bowl, and now look at what the Bengals are. They're a place people want to go because they've got their guy. Can Derek Carr be that in New Orleans? If so, why wasn't he that in Oakland? I think is a fair question. Again, I'm not sitting there trying to argue with Tyrann Mathieu. He's the one who's been in locker rooms and knows what he's talking about. But I think it is fair to wonder, is it just an alpha male, ultimate competitor leader who wants to believe his team is going to be good enough to win? I hope they are. One thing's for certain is Derek Carr has won over that locker room in very, very short order. Can he continue to deliver? We'll continue to get that answer as the Saints move toward the season ultimately through. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.